Oh, that would be it now. Okay, so this is week 5. It's not really week 5, so it feels a little weird saying that, but we're pretending that right now we're starting week 5. This is information for week 5. So week 5, we are now kind of opening the door on applying all of this really profound knowledge that you are getting about plants and plant evolution and the different groups of plants and how to identify them, which sets you apart from the vast majority of people on the planet. It's kind of cool. I think it's kind of cool. And now a little more into the application part, like the landscape application. So we need to understand a little bit about soils, just general soils content. So we get into that this week. Next week, I think we start talking about water. Water. And I think I said this somewhere. I think maybe it was in the announcement. I don't remember. Maybe it was in the overview. That in a permaculture plan, you actually design the water. You plant the water first before you plant the plants, right? So maybe we should be thinking about water first, but whatever. We're starting with soils. And there's not a huge amount of things you can do for soils. You know, if you have clay, you add a lot of organic matter. If you have sand, you add a lot of organic matter. But if you really want to help people who have like plant pathogen issues, like if the plants just aren't thriving, or you know, they plant stuff it doesn't do well, then sometimes you need to get pretty specific about soil chemistry and nutrient availability and limiting nutrients like nitrogen or whatever. So towards that end, we have a little overview on soil structure and texture and basic chemistry, which includes soil nutrients, and then a little quiz about that kind of stuff. And then hands-on, right? Getting dirty. Lots of different puns you can make about that. Going out and looking at some soil around you. You know, ideally it's somewhere in your yard where you can dig a hole and it won't be a big problem, to do the squeeze test and the jar test. And these are like really simple ways to just get started getting to know your soil. And then we get a little bit more complicated with soil test results from my yard that I did a couple years ago, and how to interpret that, and then making sure that you understand that process. And it's not a huge amount of points, but it's super handy stuff to do. And I think I mentioned somewhere, I wrote it down, although I have no idea where. Maybe here? No. Anyway, right here? I don't know. Doesn't matter. That I used to really kind of like thumb my nose at soil tests. Who needs that? No, no, no. And then I got one. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so incredibly helpful. So, you know, yay science, right? And then for the plant family tree, we're going to be in the angiosperms for the whole rest of the course, because it's a big old group and it's almost all the plants that we use for stuff. And we're still inside the monocots. So we talked about the magnoliids, you know, I think last week or the week before, and now we're in the monocots before we get to the plants that are probably even more familiar to you, the eudicots. But right now, the monocots, including a large grouping of them called the comillenales. So lots of really cool groups. I think this was included the zingibers, the gingers, and a bunch of other cool plants. Plant presentations are for plants 51 to 65. Let's see, who's doing that? 51 to 65. That would be Danielle, me, Eek, Glenn, Adrian, and Megan. So hope y'all are on board with making that happen. And then we get to know those plants. What are those plants? 51 to 65. Aha. Oh, cool. Okay. And I will be saying the names of those plants for you. Did I do these ones? I don't remember doing these. Anyway, might be off a week for these. If I am, somebody just remind me. Although you won't be reminding me until week 5. It might not be super handy then. And then one of my favorite botanists, I think I mentioned this, that I'm totally, like when I saw that the guy had a ruler tattooed on his fingers, I just fell in love. Like, what a fantastically super practical superhero kind of thing. He's such a badass. Anyway, he also has a really terrible penchant for 4-letter words. So if you are like, oh my goodness, he said the F word, then I don't know what you're gonna do. He just whatever. His language is like, it's not the kind of language you hear in a college class, but you will get to. And I think it's an hour long, that podcast that talks about how we got into this. So he's a phenomenal botanist, really, really phenomenal botanist. And he is not paid to be a botanist. He's not a professor. He's not a with people who go around and do plant surveys. You know, he's just somebody who really loves this stuff. And I think he actually makes his living doing Patreon and his YouTube channel and stuff like that. Whoever thought that somebody with a penchant for botany would be a counterculture superhero? But go figure. Times are different now, aren't they? Soils, plants to learn this week. Okay, so I'm going to now pronounce the plants. Are you ready? 51 to 65. Feijoa, Celowiana. It sounds really familiar. Did I do this last week? I did. Oh no. Am I left? Did I? Okay, well there you got to see me in real time learning something new about Screencast-O-Matic that I didn't know. It does actually pick up from where you left off, so I didn't know if I had just deleted my whole video or whatever. But I think that I am suffering from a little brain fart issue where plants 51 to 65 are what we did last week. So that's what you're going to be learning about them this week, but the people who were assigned these plants had to submit it so that we could learn them this week. So this week, what will be helpful is if I pronounce the plants 66 through 80, because Jeremy, Lucy, Pablo, and John Damien, or JD, are the ones who are going to be, oh, and me there too, again, ouch, are going to be doing the research for the plants this week. And then you may notice that I turned these orange because that's going to be our next round of signups. So I haven't made that an assignment yet, but I will. It's on my list of things to do. So I will be reading plants 66 through 80 for you. Where are they? Right up there, 66. Where are you? Okay. Myrtus communis compacta, dwarf myrtle. Nandina domestica, Gulf Stream. We see that stuff everywhere. Nerium oleander in the Apocynaceae with those pinwheel flowers and really poisonous. Freeway landscaping. Philodendron bipinnatifidum. Bipinnatifidum. I swear, I think that's it. And then the old names sometimes are here. It used to be Celoum, but it's not anymore. That's funny. This is like a shrub. Okay, whatever. I think of most philodendrons as being landscape plants in the Araceae, but maybe this is one of those super big ones. I used to have one in my yard. It was awesome. Phoenix robellenii, the pygmy date palm. So you always pronounce all the vowels, even though that might seem weird, but EI would, that's how you would say that. Formium 10X, we got that one in the yard here. New Zealand flax. Photinia X fraseri, so that's actually a hybrid between two different species. Pieris, formerly known as Andromeda. Japonica, interesting. I think I want to grow this one. Ooh, it's in the blueberry family. Pittosporum tobira, mock orange, also really lovely, lovely shrub. Platycladus orientalis, thuja. Plumbago or plumbago. I think I say plumbago for that one. You say plumbago, I say plumbago. Who knows, right? Just pronounce it so that we know what you're talking about. Either way, we'll figure it out. Podocarpus, gracilior, elongatus are the old ones, and it doesn't look like we have a new one there, a new name for that one. What does it say up there? Icy blue. Okay, interesting. Pyracantha crenatocerata. That's kind of pretty. It sounds poetic. Crenatocerata. Raphiolepis indica. And I think we only get to 80. Yep. Rhododendron indica. Indica meaning like the common sort of cultivated thing. Some of you may be familiar with that species name from another genus. Okay, so that's it for this week. I hope that wasn't too weird and confusing. Sorry. Bye.